In this video, I will show all of you how to simulate F1 2021's My Team Career Mode and regular career mode, and how to get some crazy driver transfers as well. My name is Chris, welcome back to CFRacing, and enjoy the video. Hello everybody, what's going on? It's CFRacing here, guys, and welcome back to another Formula 1 video. This is kind of a different video than what I'm used to doing. I usually do like simulations or kind of restructures of a season. What if something didn't happen in 2014 like I did before? But today, guys, I'm going to show you all how I simulate F1 2021's My Team Career Mode, along with how to get some crazy driver transfers in your career modes as well, because everybody loves some good driver transfers. But first, guys, if you're new here and you want to show some support to the channel, then please go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. The goal is to reach 10,000 by the end of the year. I think we can do that. I don't see why we can't. So with that being said, guys, let's start the video. So I did pre-record the background kind of ish gameplay for this video just so I can do like a talk overlay of it. So we're gonna talk while the video is playing. So we go into the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and the reason I'm going here is because in Bahrain, instead of like simulating all the practices, it makes you go into the first practice in season 1. So I just skipped that entire weekend and then I went to Imola. But now, as you can see on the screen, you have the normal dashboard that you get in F1 2021, and on the bottom you have these bunch of settings. But if you go to the race tab, there's a button on the bottom that says skip to and simulate. It's F1 on the computer, and then it says starting race, we'll skip practice 1, practice 2, practice 3, and qualifying. Are you sure you want to skip? And when it says that, you click yes. And I want to point this out, you will not be getting any R&D for any of these, so you'll be getting a fat 0, you'll see it later, but your teammate will be getting R&D. That's the only way you can get R&D if you do simulate seasons like this. If you are to do something like that and you're not doing practices, obviously you can do quick practice and then you will be getting R&D, which is okay, but if you don't want to do quick practice, because it does take a little bit of time, then I recommend putting most settings to reduced, especially like R&D settings for the AI. I would definitely put that on reduced, and then maybe put like your team's R&D a little bit more increased for like the weekly settings and all that, because you get weekly R&D from like some departments. So then once you click yes to this, you get another are you sure, and it says simulating this session will complete it under AI control and cannot be restarted. When you click that, you click yes, and then it takes you out of the normal dashboard screen, and then it brings you back to the loading page, and it has a resource regeneration page and all that. You team acclaim. You really don't get much acclaim for simulating, so it kind of sucks. That's why I recommend putting your driver's acclaim a little bit up. And I mean, I'm using Bugatti in this video just because that's one of the teams I have planned. This is not the actual Bugatti sim, but then as you can see, it brings you to the race screen, and you can scroll down and see what happens during this race. You have Lewis finishing first. You scroll down, you have Bugatti with Daniel Kvyat and Jack Aitken finishing in 19th and 20th when they started 22nd and 21st, so they really got a bad car. But yeah, I really just did a default starter car, like I made the worst one possible. And then you go back into the regular Formula 1 weekend, and then you do it all over again for all other 22 races on the calendar. It is quite tedious, and it does take forever, especially now that they keep adding a bunch of like races, which kind of sucks, so it takes much longer now. But now I'm going to show you guys how to get good driver transfers. So this doesn't really happen normally, but he actually declined the contract, and he wanted a higher team acclaim and all that, and just our team did not have the level 8 team acclaim. And you can see I'm scrolling down the free agent list. I do end up signing Sean Galeo just because he is one of the worst drivers, and I wanted him to be on the team just for a little bit, you know, just so he won't leave like Jack Aitken and he completely ruins this video. But then if you go into the driver market, I believe I go into here a little bit later. So then I wait for the actual mid-season to go through. You can see Bugatti's the worst possible team on the list. But then if I go into the driver transfer market like I did before, you can see that there actually are some driver transfers that you guys might notice. So Mick Schumacher is in AlphaTauri, and he switched with Yuki Tsunoda. I believe those are the only two switches so far, besides Aitken and Sean Galeo. But yeah, we're going to go to the end of the season driver transfers now, when there are a little bit more transfers than just one. Now, at the end of the season, we are going to re-sign Sean Galeo just for the purposes of this video. I would never actually re-sign him in real life because it's Sean Galeo, but he's got money, so that's pretty cool. Maybe he will sign with the team eventually. I doubt it. Really highly doubt it. Then, what I do, Kimi Räikkönen is retiring, so that is one transfer, but that just kind of normally happens. There's also a regulation change, but that doesn't really matter as well. So we're going to go to the driver transfer market and see what has happened. I like to just go to the end of the season and wait for the beginning of next season to start, so all like the standings and everything fizzle themselves out. So we're just going to go to that. And now we are in 2022, which is the second season of this. And once again, to confirm, Kimi Räikkönen did retire from Formula 1. And then if we go to the driver transfer market, there are a little bit more transfers, not much. Not the most, but Dan Ticktum, he goes to Alfa Romeo to replace Kimi Räikkönen. George Russell goes to AlphaTauri. And that's, I believe that is pretty much it compared to all the other ones. I think, yeah, Gasly goes to Williams. Jack Aitken also goes to Williams. A lot of this was kicked off because of Kimi Räikkönen's retirement. And also, don't forget, Nicholas Latifi also became a free agent. So, this is actually not the most transfers that I have seen before. There was one simulation that I did. I'm sure I showed you the simulation settings already, but if you did miss it, I went into the career page, clicked settings, and then if you go down, you can actually check off a bunch of different like boxes, and you can put a bunch of settings on like reduced and increased and all those type of things. It doesn't really matter, but there's one thing that does matter, and I noticed that if you change driver's acclaim and team acclaim around, you can get a lot of different driver transfers. What I like to do is that I like to put AI team acclaim on increased, and sometimes I like to put driver acclaim on decreased, or I just keep it reduced. It really doesn't matter, but if one is higher than the other, then just for example, just say Leclerc, he sometimes leaves Ferrari because his acclaim is so high that Ferrari cannot match the acclaim needs that he wants. Then he goes to like another team for some reason, or vice versa. If Ferrari's team acclaim is too high and Leclerc doesn't meet the team's needs, then he'll go to like Williams or something like that. And I think that's really cool. And it's not perfect. There's sometimes barely any driver transfers happen, which kind of sucks, but then there's other times you get a lot of driver transfers, and I will be putting proof of that on the screen before. Like there's this one I'm looking at right now was absolutely insane. I believe this was the Porsche simulation, the most insane driver transfers I've ever seen, and I don't remember 100% what settings I used, but it was absolutely crazy, and it was just messing around with the team acclaim. Sometimes you can mess around with like the pay. I think the money that comes into the team, sometimes you can mess around with R&D, but that just really, I always just keep those pretty much on reduced anyway because teams get maxed out way too fast. But guys, that's how you simulate F1 2021, or at least how I simulate F1 2021. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see more from me, then make sure to like button and subscribe. The goal is to reach 10K by the end of the year, and I think we really can do that. And with that being said, everybody, hope you all enjoyed, and have a great day.